Hello, YouTube. This is Kiwi Wells, also known as Wars Guild or Legion of Wars Guild, King of Cosplay. You know, me. I'm here to talk to you today about my very first deck profile. It is Toon World Monsters, the brand new 2020 Toons that have just came out. Some cards are old, some cards are brand spanking new. The brand spanking new cards allow the deck to function competitively, and it also has a brand new win condition. Nothing too fancy, nothing too, how can I say, basically how all Swarm decks win. But without further ado, let me go ahead and get started. The very first two monsters that I have are two Toon Red Eyes Black Dragons. Or should I say Red Eyes Toon Dragon. Basically, Red Eyes Toon Dragon special summons a Toon monster from the hand. Red Eyes Toon Dragon is a special part of this deck because it helps create the swarm, it helps set up Xyz plays with Toon Dark Magician, and it helps set up swarming plays. Red Eyes Toon Dragon is easily special summoned via Blackstone of Legend, but we will get to that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Next up, we have two Toon Ancient Gear Golems. There isn't really anything special about Toon Ancient Gear Golem. If this card ends up on the field, either A, I misplay, or two, I'm really trying to push for game at this point. But the main reason Toon Ancient Gear Golem is in this deck is because it's to fulfill the summoning requirement for the star of the show, also known as Bray Wyatt the Fiend, the Toon Blackluster Soldier. We will be getting to him momentarily. Next up, we have the Abby the Witch of the deck, Toon Harpy Lady. Toon Harpy Lady cannot attack the turn as summoned, of course. If I control a Toon World or a Toon Kingdom, in my case, I can special summon it from my hand. And it also destroys back row, which is why it's useful. I started to run this at 3, but some builds are cutting it down to about 1 or 2. For right now, I'm just gonna leave it at 1 because it's cloggy having 3. You know. Plus, your opponent can attack Toon Worlds, well, these type of Toon World monsters. So, yeah. Next up, we have 3 Toon Dark Magician. Toon Dark Magician, like all the other Toon monsters, cannot attack the turn it is summoned. Toon Dark Magician, also known as Rambling Rabbit, he special summons a Toon World monster from deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. In this type of deck, that is needed. And then also, you can discard a Toon card and activate the second effect, which is add a Toon Speller Trap card from deck to hand. That is also needed. Toon Dark Magician is another big part of the swarm. If you have him or Toon Red Eyes on the field first turn, you're doing things right. Next up, we have the star of the show, also known as Bray Wyatt, also known as the Fiend. We call him Toon Blackluster Soldier. Toon Blackluster Soldier is the star of the show, ladies and gentlemen. The special thing that I like about this card is that, number one, he's not like the other Toon monsters. He can be summoned and then attack. And his summoning condition is very less costly. It operates sort of like his ritual. He's like a combination between the ritual and the envoy of the beginning. You can discard a level 8 monster or monsters whose levels total up to 8 or more in order to special summon him from your hand. He can also banish a card, not a monster, but a card on your opponent's side of the field. So it could be monster, spell, or trap. Banish. Only thing is, he can't attack the turn he activates that effect. I love this card. He is the new win condition. He is the standard. He is the blueprint. Y'all already know where I was going with that. I'm a WWE fan, clearly. So, yeah. Toon Blackluster Soldier. Next up, the only normal summon in this deck, the Black Stone of Legend. Like all stones and dragons, we all know what the Black Stone of Legend does, but we have him in here specifically to summon Toon Red Eyes or Red Eyes Toon Dragon from the deck so he can kickstart our plays. Last but not least, the very special hand trap, Ash Blossom, the expensive Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom still to this day is a very good hand trap. One of the Ghost Girls. Stops your opponent from adding, special summoning, or sending cards. Anything that can get your opponent to kickstart their strategy. Want to slow them down as quickly as possible, especially if your deck is going slow at the moment. I'm going to do my one-ofs as far as my spell cards are concerned first. So on to spell cards. Terraforming, we all know what that does. Duh. Only reason Terraforming is in here is because although we have multiple options to summon or get Toon World or Toon Kingdom, in this case, from deck to hand, we have extra resources. But why waste those extra resources on something, you know, unless we can or can't help it. But yep, Terraforming to search out our field spell. Toon Rollback. Toon Rollback is temporarily in here until I can get Mimicat, but Toon Rollback is in here just in case I need to swing and push for game. Toon Rollback allows me to basically attack my opponent twice. Say if I have BLS on the field and I'm trying to inflict as much damage as possible. So, yep, Toon Rollback will get that done for me. Then I have Shadow Toon. Not many people play this card, but like I said, this is a temporary setup until I am able to get what I need as far as Mimicat and other stuff. Shadow Toon inflicts damage equal to a Toon World monster my opponent has on the field. It burns. It really, really burns. BLS mainly. 3,000. Good game. Next up, the draw card of the deck that I said was going to be in 2s, but it ended up being in 3s. Thank you, God. Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance basically banishes cards from the extra deck and allows me to draw that many cards. Or should I say, for every 3 cards. So, yep. My extra deck is useless. So, I banish the top 6 cards, draw 2 cards. That's that. Next up, Comic Hand. For those of you who do not know what Comic Hand does, Comic Hand, when Toon World or Toon Kingdom is on the field, snatches your opponent's monster, turns that monster against your opponent, and turns it into a Toon, and it can attack your opponent directly. Which means it's under the protection of Toon Kingdom. It acts as a Toon. It's no longer your opponent's. Good game. See you later. Love it. Next up, introducing the start of the new spell cards, Toon Page Flip. It's a real page turner. See what I did there? Basically, I get to reveal 3 Toon World monsters with different names from my deck, and my opponent randomly chooses one, and the one he or she chooses, is the one that hits the field. So you want to go for, typically with this combo, you want to go for Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, Mercy, the Buzzard, or Rambling Rabbit. Your opponent chooses any of those three, you are set. You can only activate one per turn, so activate one on your starting turn, then activate the other if you have one in your hand on your opponent's turn. That way you can get two Toon World monsters and they get to attack next turn. Next up, another brand new Toon card. Toon Bookmark. What Toon Bookmark does is very special. It allows you to add a Toon World or a card that specifically lists Toon World or Toon in its name and adds it directly from your deck to your hand. When it's in the graveyard, it is very, very, very live because when you banish it, it protects Toon World and prevents it from being destroyed by anything. I love this card. I don't know what the hell Konami was thinking, but they gave Toons the advantage. Well, I wouldn't say gave them the advantage, but they gave them something, you know. It helped them out and made them more playable. 3, Toon Table of Contents. Duh. If you are playing a Toon World deck, you need Toon Table of Contents. No getting around it, no ifs, ands, or buts. Always at 3. Do I need to explain this? Do I need to? I'm going to explain it anyway. Toon Kingdom. When it's activated, you banish 3 face downs from the top of your deck. Double-edged sword. Hint, hint. If Toon World monsters are being threatened or targeted, they are unable to be threatened or targeted, but they can still possibly be destroyed or by battle or card effect. So that's why you mill the top card of your deck to prevent them from being destroyed. It's no limit to how many times you can do it, but if it's not worth it, it's not worth it. But Toon Kingdom is a very decent card. It is the key card of this deck. It is the Firefly Funhouse of this deck. Last but not least, my traps. Toon Briefcase. There are monsters in the world that can still intimidate and hurt Toon World monsters. So that's why we have this. It sends them back. It puts them back. Sends them packing. Last but not least, certainly not least, the Sister Abigail, or should I say, the Mandible Claw of the deck, the Infernity Barrier, Toon Terror. Toon Terror acts as the Infernity Barrier of this deck. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, it negates the card and destroys it. This is another thing that they have given us to make Toons playable. Hopefully, it will go elsewhere. Hopefully, it will do other things, beautiful things. But one can remain hopeful. Remain hopeful and remain, whatever. For my extra deck. My extra deck does not make sense. It's not supposed to. So forgive me. This extra deck is just based on random cards from random rivals from Yu-Gi-Oh! Mainly because it's mainly used for Pot of Extravagance. The extra deck is just basically made for a Pot of Extravagance. To mill my 6 cards or whatever, how many, and that'll be that. Nothing in this deck, the extra deck, is playable. If I wanted to, I could incorporate Big Eye and Red Eye's darkness, whatever it's called, the Exceeds monster red eyes. I will get those eventually, just like I will get my Mimikatz. But this is my Toon deck. It is playable. It is ready for tournament play. Hopefully we will get somewhere with it. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, feel free to hit me up below. And like or subscribe. I'm not doing big things yet, but if you have anything that could help me out or anything helpful, please, constructive criticism and input is needed. Thank you and have a pleasant day.